Welcome everyone with Rosetta Johnson, Growing Gracefully, and led to you, Monique and Malachi. I'm so excited for the special guest today, y'all. It is going to be amazing, or I should say tonight rather. We're going to have a good talk. So if you have any teenagers that are living in your house right now, that are eating your food, that are drinking your drinks, watching your TV, go grab them because we're going to have a good conversation. So I'm so excited for them being here. I know them personally, but I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. We'll go ahead and start with Monique. Can you please go ahead?
Well, my name is Monique Jones. I am 16 years old. I am a sophomore in high school. Yeah, I mean, I was born in Tacoma, Washington. Shout out to all the people who were born in Tacoma. Woo! Woo-woo! And now we currently live, we currently live in Las Vegas, Nevada. I mean, I like to play the piano, like to hang out with friends, love to watch some TV. Whole day can be watching TV. But yeah.
For me, my name is Malachi Jones, Malachi Ramon Jones. I am 14 years old. I thought I'm like a job interview. I'm 14 years old. I was born in Tacoma, Washington. Live in Nevada. I am a freshman in high school.
Yes, you are.
They call me a freshie. So we have a cool name, freshie, that's what we be doing in the streets. I also play instruments, so those are kind of my hobbies. I love listening to music. I can't watch TV all day. I'm sorry, that's not me. I have to do something. I can't just be home doing nothing. I can't do that. So I'm always trying to stay active as possible. So that's the quick run.
So y'all are real well-rounded. I love it. I love it. I love it. Playing the piano. And Malachi, did you say you play an instrument too?
Yes, ma'am. I play the piano, the bass, the electric guitar, the acoustic guitar, and the drums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Y'all are real gifted or whatever.
And you know what's sad? Like my whole family can sing, and I can do all of that, but can't sing. Like I got the music part. I just can't sing. Like what is this? Like honestly, I had to talk to God about it. Like
Malachi, you can't have it all.
I know, like
you can't have it all.
Like I mean, I wish I could. You can always pray.
Don't we all? I can't play an instrument. Well, I can do some work with a tambourine.
I can't.
I don't get how people can do the wrist like so quick.
Really? That's okay. Auntie gonna teach y'all. I'm gonna give y'all some tambourines for Christmas. But no, that's good. And you guys have your own YouTube channel, Led to You.
Yes.
Give us a little information about it and what type of things you guys talk about.
Okay, so yeah, like she said, we do have a YouTube channel titled called Led to You. It is more geared towards the teens, but hey, if you're not a teenager and you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. There should be something that benefits every person. So we just give you a little bit. We talk about our personality. We talk about some things that is going on in our lives personally, some things that we have experienced, and we give you that also with the Word of God. Nothing that we say is going to be just out of our emotions. It's always going to be founded in Scripture and founded in God, because that is our source, and that's who deserves all the glory.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you guys are talking about real stuff, real issues that teenagers are facing, but you give them a Christian or a biblical standpoint of it, biblical advice with your own experience. And I think that's absolutely amazing. Wonderful, wonderful. So we're going to dive right into this conversation. There is a lot going on in 2020, a whole lot, from unexpected deaths to COVID to Black Lives Matter. It's a lot to take in. And I know you guys are not old enough to vote yet, but even that has been a lot. And so we'll start with the Black Lives Matter. Being African American, being Black yourselves, how are you all dealing with this? I know as your aunt how I feel. I worry about my husband. I worry about my brothers. I worry about my nephews. But how does it make you all feel being teenagers, Black teenagers, seeing everything that's going on in our society?
For me, I would say it's scary. You know, it's fearful. You get fearful not at times, at many times. You know, especially when you're living in a black body, and just because you're living in a black body, anything can happen to you. Uh,
Mm,
you're quickly judged, not just because of your skin color. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. Like we don't not by our actions. I know people say you judge by your actions. Nah, when it comes to black people, we just quickly judge
right.
because of our skin color. So, you know, for me, it's made me live cautious in everything I do, in my apparel, in my actions, what I say. That's why my mom and dad all like they're so strict on me saying yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, because
Mhm.
that is respectful, but also because there's a lot of black people that are, you know, that they put stereotypes on them, like they're disrespectful and different things like that. So my mom and dad telling me like, say yes, ma'am, yes, sir, if you accidentally hit them or if you're trying to move by them, because I'm
Mhm.
trying to every day, I'm trying to break the stereotypes that
Wow.
people so easily fall into because we're quickly judged by our skin color. So for me, it's a lot of things. You're fearful. You're trying to, you know, be not somebody different, but you're like overly cautious. Sometimes you really can't be
Mm,
yourself. You're
Mhm.
also, and I'm gonna end it right here. It's also hard because you're looking at your parents and see how fearful they are because of you. So not only are you handling your own
ah,
fear, you're handling their fear as well over you. So it's just a lot, you
Yeah.
know, when it comes to, you know, being black.
wow.
I know kind of what that parent's fear is like. If you do something, if a black kid does something, their parent automatically like they might give them a whooping, they might pop them or something. And it's not necessarily because they're mad, it's just because like I don't want anything to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
So before something else happens, before other people whatever punish you, let me do that so that you know that this is not
Mm,
acceptable,
Mm-hmm.
or that there could be worse
Also, they don't have to
consequences,
do that
or
to
so
you.
they don't have to. And it's kind of like what Malachi said about not being yourself. I think it's more of like always putting your best foot
Yeah.
forward,
yeah.
always making yourself, trying to make yourself perfect
Mm-hmm.
so that you can live. And it can come off as not being yourself because we're not perfect. We make mistakes. We have quirks. We have little
Yeah.
weird things that we do, but we don't know what little weird thing could be deemed threatened to others.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a
Mm,
lot of things that you have to be aware of as just simply going to Walmart to get your things. And I know as a sister and has a daughter, it can
mm,
sometimes be a little worrisome if your brother or if your dad goes out. It's like, are they going to come back? Or are we gonna get a call that something is gonna happen? That's why I love when they are a little late, even like 5 minutes late, my heart automatically starts like, this is
wow.
not, they could just go be at the bank or go getting gas, but it's like, I don't know, like they should have been home by now. Like what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they ran them, maybe sped a little too fast. Like you never know. And people can always say, yeah, we don't know what life, but especially as black people, you really don't know. Like
No.
things aren't certain. And I know with Malachi, as you can see him wearing his lovely hat
Mm-hmm.
and his lovely hoodie, this is
Right,
what he
right.
loves to wear
I love it.
every
Yeah.
day, all
Love it.
day. He's in
Love it.
some type of hoodie. But even with that, like people could be threatened that he's wearing a hat or wearing a hoodie and can judge him based off that, or he can get punished. He could get stopped by the police because he's wearing this. And so now you have to tell Malachi, if you have to tell a young man, you can't wear a hoodie. I don't want you wearing a hoodie when you're out, because they don't know. And people, you can't tell what people are
Wow.
thinking. You don't know if they're having a bad day. You don't know if they just woke up mad this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have to not only live, but you have to cater to other people's feelings so that you can continue to breathe every minute.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. That's so amazing that you all are feeling some of the type of things that we feel as the adults.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is why this is so important, because I think a lot of times in my era or my age group, that the all those in the 30s and all that type of things, like we know how each other are feeling. We're very vocal, you know what I mean. I would say in our generation, but it's very rare we pass the mic down to the teenagers
Mm-hmm.
to see how you guys are coping with all this. How does this make you feel, when you wear a hoodie? You know what I'm saying? When you hear the different ones, the Trayvon Martins and the different ones that were just doing simple things in life,
Mm-hmm.
and weren't able to come back home to their families. How did that make you feel as a young Black man? And so just to hear the similarities of the fears that you have, or the same similarities and fears that I have, about, like I said, about my husband, about my brothers, about my nephews. So across the board, it's safe to say that it's intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say, well, I wanted to ask you all, how do you feel like it's affecting you in your daily lives? And you stated that you almost feel like you have to not become something you're not, but over accentuate the fact that you're a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me, because it's like, why can't I just, I know I'm a good person, but why can't I just be simplified? But why do I gotta go the extra mile? Why I gotta say, why I gotta be overly nice or overly, you know what I mean? And it's just amazing, because my overly niceness could be what's saving my life right now.
Yeah. It's like you don't get to have an attitude or a bad day.
Yeah.
No.
You don't get those chances.
No.
And that's what's crazy to me. You know what I mean? I've been around people of other backgrounds, and they express that they were upset, and it can be dismissed as, oh, they're just having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to do something similar to it, then
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just real crazy. The simple thing as wearing a hoodie.
Yeah.
I remember one time, my husband was going to the store, and it was late at night. He was probably about 10 something, and we needed something. I can't remember. And so he was going, but he had a hoodie on.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my chest. And I told him, I'm like, don't you wear that hood in the store. I don't care what you do, take it off, but don't wear that in the store. Don't wear that when you're driving. You know what I'm saying? Because something that may be so simple for somebody else is, oh, I'm over here like, God, right now, please cover my husband, that nobody mistakes him for something else.
Yeah.
Just because simply he's Black.
Yeah.
And he'll never be another color. I can never change the color of my skin. You all can never do that. We cannot do that. I will forever be Black. And so it's just crazy to see how something that I can never change, something how God made me, is seen as a threat. And to know how you all feel about it is just, it hurts my heart, because I feel like there's certain things that, teenagers and younger generations than y'all kids shouldn't have to go through. Shouldn't have to feel, shouldn't have to be fearful about certain things. So with that being said, how do you all think that, being Christians, do you feel like this has affected or is affecting your faith or trust in God with everything going on?
Well, for me, at first, seeing all of these things, it really hit my faith in a negative way, because I couldn't wrap my head around how a God so loving and so good could allow this to happen. And if you've ever been on this walk of faith, I'm sure you've understand that same thing of how could he allow this to happen? Like, people are just living their life, and they are being wrongfully accused, wrongfully murdered. Their life is being taken from them by another person who's supposed to protect them. And it just like, why would you allow this to happen? But over quarantine, I began to start to, know God or learn about God myself, because so many times we hear it from our other people, we hear it from our older generation, and that can kind of dictate how you view it. But I had to learn him for myself. I had to go in the Bible, I had to study, I had to pray, I had to develop my own personal relationship with him. And I began to understand more of his character, more of his heart, and to be able to know that he grieves right along with us. That is it's so, I guess, important for me, because to know that I'm not alone in this battle, that he's right along with me, and he grieves. He does not like to see us being murdered. He does not like to see us being hurt or be abused or be discriminated against. He does not like that. He is a God of justice, and he is a just God. And to know that brings me so much comfort, and it brings me so much solace knowing that. And so I just think now I learned that I needed to trust God, and that I can't put my hope in this world or in people.
Wow, you just said everything that was in my mind. Like, honestly, like, I don't think there's anything else to say, just to know that for this, everything that's going on has made me, just really spend time with God. I mean, before quarantine, I'm not gonna lie, I was obsessed with basketball. I love basketball, Steph Curry all day, Golden State Warriors, shout out to them. But
Woo!
honestly, hey, sign me 10-day contract. Honestly, we can talk about this after. But honestly, like, I was obsessed with basketball. Like, basketball, I'm being honest, came before God. Basketball, trying to practice my game, watching basketball clips, watching everything. Then when quarantine happened, and when all these different things happened, it made me realize that, okay, the things that I once put my trust in, are it's so quickly to leave, So why do I keep trusting this thing? Why won't I trust somebody, that won't change, that, that's not shaky? And that's what it's made me do. It made me have a self check and realize that, okay, what have I been doing? And has it been working? And the answer I had to come up was no, it hasn't been working. It was not working at all. And it's made me everything. And you can look at it negatively, like, okay, bad stuff, bad stuff, bad stuff. How can God be good? Or why should I go to God? But it's made me realize, okay, all these bad things are happening. So I need to go to someone who's good. That's what it's made me realize, like, okay, instead of looking at everything bad and look like there's no hope, there actually is hope.
Right.
And I had to look at it like that, like God is the only hope that I can really hold on to, because he does not change and he never will, because he's the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. So why would I keep trusting in something that's, that can change so quickly? So that's what it's made me feel like. So many things I just said. It's made me trust him. It's made me, all the distractions that were once in my life gone. It's made me focus on him. It's made me depend on him, because, who else can you run to when you realize that everything else is shaky? Go to the one, that remains the same. So for me, that's what it's done.
That's good. That's a really good. I mean, ditto to everything you both said.
Mhm.
Um, even being an adult, um, and I like I said this before, this can do two things.
Mhm.
The time we're living in, it can pull us away
Mhm.
or it can pull us closer to God. Um, Christians are not exempt from hurt. We're not exempt from pain. We're not exempt from disappointment. And oftentimes you'll hear the question, well, why would you serve a God that allows these things to happen? Why, how could you have faith and trust into something that allows these things to happen? Well, it's the same God that gives you free will to do everything you want to do every day.
Yep.
It's the same God that gives you a choice
Mhm.
to live any type of way you choose to live.
Mhm.
He does not make people do the right thing. He gives us free choice.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's one of those situations is because I know he gives us free choice, and because I know that he, in spite of all of that, he's still a God that loves us.
Mhm.
He's concerned about us and our well-being. Um, I think for me, it definitely has refocused myself to really put my energy and time into things that matter.
Yeah.
Um, if for all the adults that may be watching, it's a sure thing now that you can't put your faith and trust in your jobs. You can get laid off. There are many families that are laid off right now because they can't work due to their companies that have closed down to COVID. You have families that have to be home for their children. You know what I'm saying? So you had to quit your job. You can't put your faith and trust in the government. And so you start to realize everything that I was feeling confident in, there's no things that are solid. Like
Yeah.
you said, Malachi, they're not solid things. The only thing that I'm realizing, though I knew, but even more now, the only thing that is solid around me is Christ.
Yep.
And I don't want to sound cliche-ish, but it's the truth.
Mhm.
He's the only thing that's been consistent through a very inconsistent time,
Yeah.
a very inconsistent world.
Mhm.
And it's so ironic how you always hear this little voice saying, well, don't believe in God, how could God allow you to do this? But at the same time, that same little voice is what's trying to keep you away from
Yeah.
trusting in him. So there must be some truth to the fact that in God there must be hope, because there wouldn't be this little voice trying to keep me from getting to know who he is. if it wasn't real. If Jesus didn't love me, then why is there this little thing that keeps trying to tell me, oh, he doesn't care, he's not real? If it wasn't, why is this little thing so pressed to get me to get my faith to stop? There must be some truth in it. There must be some joy in him. There must be some peace in him, because there wouldn't be this such thing as doubt trying to come to me, to grip me, to stop me from giving him my heart in a time where I need him the most. So what would you say to your friends? What would you say to your peer group, to somebody who's not a Christian, right? They're not raised in a Christian home. They don't have the privilege of having a pastor for a father. They don't have the privilege of growing up in the church. And what would you say to them right now? They're listening and they're like, you know what? This world is really crazy. There's no hope. I feel really lost and I feel really abandoned. And what would you say to them in this moment?
Well, I'll go first because I think I know what Malachi's about to say, but I would say that, as you can see, this world and people will fail you. But there is one person who will never fail you. There is one person who will meet you where you are, and his name is Jesus Christ. He loves you. He cares about you. He created you. He created you for a specific purpose, and he'll never let you down. Just be open to him. Open up your heart to receive him, and let him in wherever you may be. If you're hurting, whatever you may be going through, no matter if you don't tell your parents, no matter if you don't tell your friends, there's might be things that you are going through internally that you don't even consciously know about, but he does. He knows everything about you, and he loves you more. He loves you a lot. Okay. He loves you a lot, that he died on a cross for you so that you could be with him. And so, just like I said, open up your heart to him, open up your life, and just receive him, because he'll meet you and he will fill every hole. He'll fill every void, and he will be there with you through it all. Whatever you're going through, whatever circumstance, whatever struggle, he will be there for you. People will fail you. People will abandon you. This world will fail you. This politician, these people will fail you. Our president will fail you, but he won't. He will stick close to you, and he will fight every battle alongside with you.
Wow. Like, honestly, like, there's a thing that I say, like, I hate flaky people. Like, I don't like flaky people. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like flaky people.
Right.
But to realize that there's somebody that's not flaky, to know that there's somebody that's going to be through with you, not just during the good times of your life, not when you just get a good job or you do something really good. He's going to be there with you through the ups and through the downs. And although there's a lot of bad things going on in this world, God is still with you. The Bible even says he'll never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid nor discouraged. And that scripture has done so much for me, because I realize no matter what goes on in this world, that the God who created the universe, that has created everything, is by my side. Like that, how can you get discouraged off of that? And that's what I would say, is that you have God with you. No matter what you go through, no matter what is going on in this world, no matter what people are saying about you, God loves you. God, you're beautifully, wonderfully made. Whatever you have insecurities, whatever the case may be, God is with you, and he can solve all of your needs. He supplies us with all of our needs. If you need love, he gives you love. If you need peace, he gives you peace. Joy, he gives you joy. Everything that you need, God gives it to you. So why are we, not going to him? If God's just waiting for us to be willing to go to him. That's it. You don't have to go through a ritual like, okay, I did this one day. Okay, I did this. Do you love me, God? No, God's just waiting for you to be like, okay, God, here's my life. So just go to him, because we can sometimes, now I'm gonna be real, for me, we can be flaky on God. Like I said earlier, like, I don't want to do this because this is how I feel. But God remains the same. God is just willing for us just to go back to him. And that's what I would just say. Just go to him. Go to him. There's no reason not to. He's always willing to just be by your side, because he will never leave you, like I said. So just go to him, because he's by your side, and he's going to be with you. And he's going to be your ride or die. Honestly, he's going to be your ride or die.
There we go. I absolutely loved everything you all said. I enjoyed our time tonight. I think this was great. I think, and I do believe there was something that was said that will definitely be an encouragement to someone who may be listening. And to all the viewers who may be listening right now, once again, this was Monique and Malachi. Led to You is their YouTube handle. Led to You. So led, and then the number 2, and then to you. And so also you had myself, Rosetta Johnson, Growing Gracefully. These are a couple of different YouTube channels you can check out. We have something for the teens, something that will encourage them, something that will speak a life into their hearts. And there's so much negativity going out there. Why not offer something positive, something that's going to make them laugh, something they can relate to, and definitely something that's going to inspire them. So we do hope that something is being said to encourage your hearts tonight. If anything else, just to make you smile. Is there anything you all want to say before we leave?
Just thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I love you guys. You guys will always be my Momo. You will always be my Mau Mau. I don't care how old you all get. That's how I will always see you.
And whoever calls, I know a lot of my friends, they call me Momo. Nah, my family, they started it first. Yeah, they started this trend.
I haven't heard Mau Mau except for my family.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't get twisted.
Don't be trying to act like it's your nickname.
Huh?
What?
I was say, in families, we don't ever call people their real names. We have a nickname for everything. Bam, bam, juju, boy, boy, girl, girl, for everything. So I love you guys. Thank you for spending this time with Auntie. This was a great talk.